Up next on SNN, one of the busiest Saturdays in sports, featuring a sudden charge by the Mets to try and catch the Pirates in the National League East. Oakland's Bob Welch, meanwhile, serves notice he's not backing down from a battle with Roger Clemens for the American League Cy Young Award. And another Bay Area millionaire, Kevin Mitchell, follows in the tracks of teammate Will Clark and signs for some big bucks with the Giants. We've got that story, much more coming up next, right here on the Malos Sports News Network. And hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the show here on the Malos Sports News Network. I'm John Malos. Glad to have you along on this first big weekend of college football, and one game has already kicked off. I'll be here for the next hour recapping, of course, last night's Major League Baseball scores and highlights. U.S. Open Tennis Championships, they continue at Flushing Meadow today, and some preseason NFL games from last night. But a look back, first of all, at what happened last night in baseball, where the ninth inning became a total nightmare for some teams. Now, a week ago, it appeared the Pittsburgh Pirates had finally gained control of the National League East. They had a 4-game lead on the New York Mets, but since losing that big weekend series to Cincinnati, the Pirates haven't been the same. Their lead is down to a half game. Last night at the Astrodome, Zane Smith, who's been red hot since joining the Pirates, pitched 8 shutout innings. He gave up 7 hits, struck out 4. The Pirates figured they had the game won, right? Bring in Stan Belinda, Bob Patterson, and the Astros stunned the Pirates. 3 runs in the ninth to win it, 3-2. It was the 5th loss in 6 games for the Pirates. We check on the highlights from the Astrodome, and there he is on the mound, Mike Scott against Barry Bonds, or Mike LaValliere, I should say. The base hit to right will score Bonds, and it's 1-0 in favor of Pittsburgh. Then Jay Bell right here adds another run in the 3rd. The drive to center field, way back, dead center, gone. 2-0 in favor of the Pirates. After trading Bill Doran, the Astros aren't losing much at second. Watch Dave Ronde make a nice play to get Sid Bream right there. Houston rallies in the ninth. Franklin Stubbs, base hit to right field. Scoring Casey Candel to tie it, then pinch hitting Glenn Wilson. The base hit to right, the game winner. Here comes Stubbs around third and on home plate. And there's your 3-2 final in favor of the Astros. What a come-from-behind win to stun the Pirates. 2 runs are charged to Belinda, 1 to Patterson, who takes the loss. He's now 8-5 on the year. Giants and Mets at Shea Stadium. Kevin Mitchell, the former Met. Oh, watch this. Darrell Boston to left field. He's going to try to stretch this into a double. Kevin Mitchell comes up throwing the gun to second base, and what a rifle throw by Kevin Mitchell to gun him down. Giants up 2-1 on the 8th. Mitchell appears to ice this one. The drive, he cranked that one out. Number 31 on the year, and San Francisco had the lead. But then Kevin McReynolds, base hit up the middle. Greg Jeffries around third. He will score, and we're all tied at 3. Then Howard Johnson loops one to right field, and it's going to drop in there for a base hit. Strawberry comes in, and the Mets win it in come-from-behind fashion. You saw Bedrosian. He was the loser. Ironically, the Pirates give up 3 runs in the ninth and lose. The Mets score 3 in the ninth and win. The Mets have won 4 in a row. They trail the Pirates by only a half game of the East. Frank Viola won his 19th game of the year, gave up 3 runs on 11 hits, and pitched his 7th complete game. And so, later today, it's going to be San Francisco at New York. It's a 1:35 Eastern Daylight start. And John Burkett, 11-5 against the other rookie, Julio Valera, making his debut, who replaces Ron Darling in the starting rotation. He's happy, but surprised to be starting.
I'm surprised a little bit, because they have great guys in here, and they hand me the ball, and that's great.
All right, and so your standings in the National League East, you've got Pittsburgh up on top by only a half game now as the Mets are trying to close in on the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Montreal Expos are not out of it. They're 7 games out of first place. Well, you know, it seems that ninth inning rallies were in vogue on Friday. The Chicago Cubs scored 2 in the ninth to beat division-leading Cincinnati 4-3. The Reds were cruising with Norm Charlton on the mound, but then the nasty boy himself, Randy Myers, blew a 3-2 lead in the ninth, and he was tagged with a loss. We go to Wrigley Field for the highlights of this one. Cubs down by 1 in the ninth. They rally. Luis Salazar base hit up the middle. That's going to score Curtis Wilkerson. Game tied at 2. Then 3 batters later, Joe Girardi with the same thing. Right back through the box for the base hit. Dwight Smith around. He races home. That's your game winner. The Reds don't lose any ground in the West as Myers is tagged with his 4th loss of the year, the final 4-3 in favor of Chicago. So today at Wrigley Field, it's going to be this afternoon, a game that has Rick Naylor on the mound trying to get the Reds back on the winning track. The Cubs send Jose Nunez to the mound. It's a 2:20 Eastern Daylight start. The Dodgers and the Expos at Olympic Stadium. There's Oral Hershiser on hand. Of course, he's on the DL. Chris Nobles, the story of the game. He had the Dodgers scratching their heads. Kurt Gibson right here, picked off, going the other way to second pickoff of the night for Nobles. Then in the 4th inning, Jerry Goff on at third, Spike Owen at second, Delano DeShields, the base hit. Juan Samuel's glove, it scores both Goff and Owen. Then Dave Martinez had a great night, 4 hits and a fine running catch in the outfield. Nobles strong in the night. Right here, it gets Juan Samuel on the inside corner. And so the final 5-2 in favor of the Montreal Expos. And so the Expos trying to stay close in the race in the East. The Dodgers lose a chance to pick up some ground on the Reds and had their 5-game winning streak come to an end. Mike Morgan takes the loss. He's now 10-12. And so the standings in the National League West, it's basically a 3-team race. You've got the Reds on top by 5.5 over the Dodgers. San Francisco trailing by 8.5. Up next on SNN, the American League, the big night for the Oakland A's and the right-hander Bob Welch. Back with more in just a moment.
This portion of Ms. Lou Sports News Network is brought to you by Yugo America. Yugo, basic transportation designed to be simple, dependable, and inexpensive.
Expensive, hard-to-maintain 24-valve engine? Not available. Exotic gadgets? Not available. Hand-fitted leather seats? Not available. What is available is dependable basic transportation that gets you where you want to go inexpensively and trouble-free. The all-new Yugo, with one of the strongest warranties in its class. Yugo, still the lowest-priced new car in America, just $44.35. Yugo, simple, dependable, inexpensive.
When you've got your power stroke going, you've got confidence that nothing's going to beat you. Power Stick. The antiperspirant so effective, you get 24-hour odor and wetness protection in just one wide stroke. 24-hour protection in just one stroke. Nothing's going to beat you. Power Stick from Fabergé.
Here's your sports guide for Saturday, September 1st. On CBS, it's continuing coverage of the U.S. Open. It all begins at 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 a.m. Pacific. On ESPN, second round action of the Senior PGA Tour, it's the North Classic. That begins at 1:30 Eastern Time. Also at 1:30 Eastern Time on WWOR, it's the National League as San Fran travels a shade to take on the Mets. On WGN, it's more National League action. This begins at 2:20 Eastern Time as the Reds take on the Cubs. On the Prime Network from Vancouver, it's auto racing, the IndyCar Time Trials. That begins at 2:30 Eastern Time. On ABC, it's third round action of the PGA Tour, the Greater Milwaukee Open. That begins at 4 o'clock Eastern Time and Pacific. Also at 4 o'clock Eastern, college football. It'll be Texas A&M taking on Hawaii. That on ESPN. At 7:05 Eastern Time, the National League begins on TBS as St. Louis takes on the Atlanta Braves. On the USA Network, it's continuing coverage of the U.S. Open. That all begins at 7:30 Eastern Time, 4:30 Pacific. On ESPN, it's college football as the Baylor Bears take on the Nebraska Cornhuskers, 7:30 Eastern Time, 4:30 Pacific. On the Prime Network, more college football. Grambling State goes against Alcorn State. That begins at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And finally, on CBS, it's the NFL preseason matchup. Philadelphia takes on Pittsburgh, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Please note all services are not available on all cable systems.
Welcome back to the show on SNN, to the American League now. And maybe there are those who believe that the Oakland A's won't lose another game. Are you kidding? That's absurd. But it kind of makes one wonder, right? Especially after picking up Harold Baines and Ozzie Smith. The A's are closing out a homestand against Texas this weekend before they head east for a big road trip that includes the Red Sox and the Yankees. And last night, Bob Welch won his 22nd game of the year as the A's beat the Rangers 4-2. Who would have guessed Welch with 22 wins at this stage of the season after that terrible spring training he had? Let's go to the Oakland Coliseum, and last night there's the newest Oakland A's player out there, Willie McGee. Carney Lansford right here, base hit to center. It's enough to score Mike Gallego. A's have a 3-0 lead. Bob Welch in search of his 22nd victory, I should say, right here in the 6th inning. Gino Petralli, ground ball to Willie Randolph. Backhanded stab and gets Petralli at first base. Great play. Watch this. Juan Gonzalez, see you later. How about Jeff Kunkel? Bye-bye on the inside corner. And then Gary Pettis. Oh, Bob Welch just guns him down one after the other. Wins his 22nd game of the year. How about Dennis Eckersley, the Eck, with his 40th save. And the A's still have a stranglehold on the American League West. And so later today, it's going to be Bob Witt against Kurt Young, 4:05 Eastern Daylight Time. The A's have won 2 in a row. Last night, the White Sox and the Angels. Mark Langston on the hill for the Angels. Top of the 4th, Ozzie Guillen, base hit to right. Ron Karkovice, Scott Fletcher in. That's 3-0 in favor of Chicago as he comes sliding home. Then, in the 4th, Johnny Ray. Loops one to left field. It's going to drop in there. Lance Perry scores, but Dante Bichette is caught sleeping at second for the 3rd out. We move to the 7th. Frank Thomas hits a bomb to left center off Langston with 2 men aboard. Gone. They hold on to win this one by the count of 6-5. The White Sox keeping pace with the A's. Chicago has also won 2 straight. Bobby Thigpen moves within 1 save of tying the Major League record of 46 set by Dave Righetti back in 1986. And so later today at 4:05 Eastern Daylight Time, Chicago and California. Melito Perez taking them out for Chicago against the rookie Joe Gray. Perez is 11-12. Gray is 1-1. And a look at your standings. American League West, Chicago trailing by 6.5 games. They're playing even with the Oakland A's, so therefore they're not gaining any ground on the world champions. In the American League East, the Boston Red Sox are a runaway train. The streak is up to 8 games now. Their lead over Toronto is 6.5. If Boston is not the best team in baseball, they're certainly playing like the best team, and fans in Beantown are once again getting excited. Only this time they hope it's for real, not a repeat of 75, 86, and 88. Well, last night the Red Sox made the Yankees their latest victim. 7-3 thanks to a grand slam by Luis Rivera and the pitching of Greg Harris. We go to the highlights of this game at Fenway Park in Boston. You're looking at Dwight Evans. We'll take Chuck Carey deep, towering drive. It's over the green monster and gone. Solo shot, it's 1-0 in the 3rd. Randy Velarde puts the Yankees on top. The drive here, forget it. It's over the monster, and it's 2-1 New York. Then Evans grounds up, base hit to right. Ellis Burks rounds 3rd, heads for home. Jesse Barfield, watch the throw to the plate. It's perfect. Burks is out, and the Yankees hold on to that lead. Burks was out by a mile. The Sox show some flair on the field. Also, Rick Cerrone. It's a slow grounder towards the hole at second. Jody Reed, the throw to first. Oh, and he gets him right there. Nice play. 3-2 Sox, bottom of the 8th. Bags loaded. Luis Rivera, the drive, way back. Grand slam into the screen. It's over the monster. First career grand slam for Luis Rivera. Look at the fans at Fenway going wild. 7-3. Harris the winner. 12-5 on the year. 4 runs in the 8th inning did most of that damage. And so later today at 1:05 Eastern Daylight Time, you have got a game at Fenway, and it's going to be Mike Boddicker to the mound looking for his 14th win of the year against Andy Hawkins, maybe the most snake-bitten pitcher in all the major leagues. Also yesterday, last night, the Jays and the Indians. Right here, the Blue Jays elect to walk Sandy Alomar with 2 outs to load the bases for Felix Fermin. Big mistake. Fermin pulls the ball into left field. Right here down the line, it takes one hop off the wall. James scores, followed by Corey Snyder. Alomar is coming to. The throw goes way offline, gets away, allowing Fermin to score. 4-run score on the wacky play, and it's 4-0, believe it or not, in favor of the Indians. Game now tied at 4 in the 6th. Mark Whitten drives in Glenn Allen Hill with that hit there, and it's 5-4 Jays. Then Luis Sojo hits the ball deep to left. Way back. Is it going to be? Yes, it's got a 3-run shot. And so Toronto goes on to win 8-2 in this one. The Jays didn't lose any ground. They bombed Cleveland. The rookie, Luis Sojo, with his first Major League home run, drives in 5 runs as well. Jim Acker gets the win in relief. Greg Swindell, the loss. How about the standings? American League East, you've got Boston up on top by 6.5 games. They've won 8 in a row. And the Red Sox, the Yankees go at it once again this afternoon at Fenway Park. Up next, football is around the corner on SNN. We'll take you to the NFL as well, and the Kickoff Classic from last night. We've got that and much more as we take a look at Todd Marinovich of USC doing his thing in the Meadowlands.
Headlines and news stories from around the world during the past few months demonstrate how fortunate we are to live where we have so many options and opportunities to make our lives satisfying. We have the freedom to choose where and how we work and play. It's a shame to throw away those opportunities by choosing to abuse drugs and alcohol. If you're caught in that trap of substance abuse, you're not alone. There are many people who are willing to help you out of that trap, if you're willing to help yourself.
This message furnished by the NCAA.
Nolan Ryan.
Introducing Nolan Ryan. Feel the heat. Nolan's official highlight video. You'll see highlights of his days with the Mets, Angels, Astros, and Rangers. You'll be in the stands for his 5th no-hitter, and you'll relive the drama of his 5,000th strikeout.
He struck him out swinging. Strikeout number 5,000 is history for Nolan Ryan.
You'll get to know Nolan away from the diamond. You'll hear the master explain how he pitches, and you'll feel the heat of his legendary fastball.
Facing a Nolan Ryan fastball is like trying to drink coffee with a fork.
To order, call 1-800-228-3377. That's 1-800-228-3377. $19.95 plus $3.50 shipping and handling. Nolan Ryan, Feel the Heat is a one-of-a-kind collector's item. So climb aboard the Ryan Express as it rolls on to Cooperstown. That's 1-800-228-3377. Nolan!
And welcome back to SNN. Time to talk football. This is the first big day of the college gridiron, but last night was the annual kickoff classic, USC against Syracuse, and most of the talk this year is surrounding sophomore quarterback Todd Marinovich. There is speculation he'll jump to the NFL after this season. Considering the money some of these teams are offering these days, he isn't ruling it out. Well, last night, Marinovich started the season off with a bang as USC destroyed Syracuse. He's known as robo-quarterback. And a Heisman Trophy this year would certainly raise his stock in the NFL. Let's check on the highlights. East Rutherford, New Jersey, and a beautiful night for football. Todd Marinovich, his second quarter, tosses a screen to Ricky Irvins right here, and Irvins does the rest, eluding tacklers down the far side, in for the touchdown. It's 14-3 in favor of the Trojans. Just over a minute to go, second half. Freshman quarterback Marvin Graves dumps one to David Walker. Walker going 30 yards near side, cuts it back, then goes the other way, and USC led at the half 14-10. Third quarter, Syracuse punting. It's blocked by USC, and it's run in for a touchdown, but a penalty negates that. But USC does retain possession. No good on this, but this, Marinovich, the first play from scrimmage, deep to Gary Wellman, touchdown USC, and Marinovich's third of the game, and so the Trojans go on to win this one easily, 34-16. The numbers on Marinovich: 25 of 35, 337 yards, 3 touchdowns. For those who don't have a calculator, that means 71% completion percentage in last night's kickoff classic. All right, to the NFL now. Last night, the Rams traveling 3,000 miles to take on the Washington Redskins. They made the trip like a sick patient looking for a cure. The Rams played without injured wide receivers Henry Ellard, Aaron Cox, and Willie Anderson. And then Friday night, they lost offensive tackle Jackie Slater with a dislocated toe. He's out for 2 weeks. Also, Jerry Gray, who was the MVP in last year's Pro Bowl, left with a ligament tear. He undergoes surgery today. And cornerback Alfred Jackson and linebacker Frank Strams left with a groin pull. Now, in the meantime, the Rams were whipped by the Redskins 37-10. We take you to RFK Stadium in the nation's capital, and what a scene that is. The monument, along with the Capitol. Mark Rippon looking toward Art Monk, and Jerry Gray will step in front of this one, and he's gone to the races. Who's going to catch him on this? Nobody. 62 yards on the touchdown run, and it's 7-0 in favor of the Rams. Off to a good start anyway, but then Rippon looking to Monk again. This time it pays off. Look at the time. Fires one near side. Art's going to go in for the touchdown, 14-7 in favor of the Redskins. Second quarter now, Rippon finds Terry Orr right here, as Rippon getting great protection right here, just guns it to the right side. And on this play, Jerry Gray collided with Alfred Jackson. Both players carried off the field. They did not return. John Robinson, the head coach, looking on in disbelief. The regular season, of course, begins next week, and so the preseason can be very misleading. Just like Joe Gibbs says, the Redskins finish up at 3-1, the Rams 2-2.
You go through a preseason, we go 0-4 and go win a Super Bowl. We go 4-0 and can't beat anybody. And tell you the truth, as a coach, you're just always afraid and scared when you come out of it. You know, if you play good like you did tonight, you're worried and afraid, you know, that you played too good tonight. And I don't know. It's just I don't think preseason means much. It doesn't mean hardly anything.
Seahawks and the 49ers in the first half. Derek Fenner, the hopeful heir apparent to Kurt Warner, takes the pitch from David Craig. Fenner grabs onto the jersey of John L. Williams and follows him into the end zone, a 6-yard touchdown, as Seattle opens up a 20-7 halftime lead over the 49ers at Candlestick Park. And how about the spike between the legs? Then James Jones fumbles the ball, but Jeff Kemp alertly picks it up, runs 10 yards for the touchdown right here. Surprised everybody, including himself probably. San Francisco losing big at the stick, 30-10, and the Niners finish the preseason 1-3. They open up the regular season on Monday Night Football against New Orleans. Seattle finishes up very impressively, 4 wins and only 1 loss. Up next here on SNN, we'll take you to Flushing Meadow for the U.S. Open Tennis Championships, and whoa, what a night it was for the bad boy himself, John McEnroe. Is he on the comeback trail? Who knows? We'll take a look at that and much more in just a moment.
This portion of the Ms. Lou Sports News Network is brought to you by Wheaties. Better get your whole grain, better eat your Wheaties.
You want football cards?
Better eat your Wheaties.
Official NFL Pro Set football cards?
You better eat your Wheaties.
Now in specially marked boxes, get 4 free cards and maybe a trip to the Super Bowl.
We better eat our Wheaties.
That's right.
The first cars were designed to get you from point A to point B, a philosophy not lost on today's Yugo. The more gadgets you put into a car, the more there is to go wrong. That's why we've designed Yugo, to be simple, dependable, basic transportation, with one of the strongest warranties in its class. Yugo, just $44.35 still makes it the lowest priced new car in America. The all-new Yugo, designed to be simple, dependable, inexpensive.
Knockout, definitely. If I don't kill him, it doesn't count.
These 2 hands I have, they can change destiny.
When there is something important happening in the world of sports, the Ms. Lou Sports News Network will be there and bring it to you live.
But we should never forget that this is the game and this is what people really care about.
Never miss a single score, no matter where you are. Get the latest from the SNN Sports Hotline. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 1-900-346-1616, 75 cents per minute. 1-900-346-1616. Check it out, the SNN Sports Hotline.
Welcome back to SNN, the U.S. Open Tennis Championships now, and the grandstand court should be packed today to watch the top seed. How about the defending champion take on an unseeded player? I'm talking about Steffi Graf. Right now, it is 6-4, 3-6 in favor of Graf over Elna Reinach out of South Africa. Arantxa Sanchez Vicario defeats Patty Fendick 6-2 and 6-1. And then Andre Agassi right now leading his foe, Branko Davin 7-5 and 4-2. You know, people are wondering right now if John McEnroe has returned. Is he back? Last night he took on the number 10 seed, Andrei Chesnokov of the Soviet Union in 3 sets. He took him out. McEnroe came back from a 4-0 deficit in the second set, marking the first time since February that Mac has beaten a player ranked in the top 20. To Flushing Meadow we go. Mac jumped on top early, serving in the near court. He comes to the net, pulling away the touch shot. He won the first set 6-3. But Chesnokov won the first 4 games of the second set with passing shots like this one and looked to be back in it at this point. Mac roared back, winning 7 of the next 8 games to take a set and go 2 sets to love, and command of this match. Then he put it away right here on match point. Oh, the Johnny Mac of old, huh? Charging the net, he wins it 6-3, 7-5, 6-4 over Andrei Chesnokov. Time to go. We'll update you on baseball on SNN in just a moment.
This is a beautiful morning for tennis.
Of course, any morning's beautiful if you're on the courts. We'll be playing in a minute.
Can hardly wait. The running, the hitting, the rhythms. I don't know. You just feel so good inside playing. The strategies.
The fun, all the great people you'll meet, all the friends you'll make. Of course, the better you play, the better you feel.
If you're a tennis player, you'll feel really good for reading Tennis Magazine. Tennis Magazine covers everything you want to know about tennis, from instruction to equipment, pro tennis to resorts.
If tennis makes you feel good, a subscription to Tennis Magazine will make you feel great.
Tennis is a lot more than just exercise, and Tennis Magazine knows it.
Subscribe to Tennis Magazine now. Only $9.97 for 12 issues. Call 800-257-8300. We'll include 2 free booklets on improving your game. Tennis Magazine. Call 800-257-8300.
Where I grew up, there was no Boys and Girls Club. And since Mom was working, my boyfriend and I would just hang out. One time, he got his hands on a car and I don't know. Maybe if there was a club in the neighborhood, things might have been different.
Fact. This year, over 19 billion tax dollars went to families begun by a teenage birth. Support the club that beats the streets.
Still ahead on this half hour of SNN, the Red Sox had to wait 131 games for their first Grand Slam of the year, but they'll be the first to tell you the wait was worth it. In the kickoff classic, USC's robo quarterback Todd Marinovich. Oh man, look what he does to Syracuse. And in Seattle, baseball history, thanks to the Griffey family, which against the Royals smelled a double dose of trouble. But first, up next here on SNN, we've got baseball. A week ago, it appeared the Pittsburgh Pirates had finally gained control of the National League East. They had a 4-game lead on the New York Mets, but since losing that big weekend series to Cincinnati, the Pirates haven't been the same. Their lead is down to a half game. Last night at the Astrodome, Zane Smith, who's been red hot since joining the Pirates, pitched 8 shutout innings, gave up only 7 hits. He struck out 4. The Pirates figure, hey, they've got the game in the bag. They bring in Stan Belinda, Bob Patterson, and the Astros stun the Pirates. 3 runs in the ninth to win it 3-2. It was the 5th loss in 6 games for the Pirates. We check on the highlights from the Astrodome in Houston. And right here, Mike LaValliere, base hit to right field off Mike Scott. Just rips that one to right field. Barry Bonds is in. It's 1-0 in favor of the Pirates. Then Jay Bell adds another one in the 3rd right here. The drive to dead center field off Scott. Did you see Scott drop his head? He knew it was gone as soon as the ball left his hand. 2-0 Pittsburgh. Right here, Bill Dorn brings the Astros back. And Dave Rondine makes a nice play to get Sid Bream at first base. And what a defensive gem that was. Franklin Stubbs then the base hit to right. Casey Candell is in to tie it at 2. And Glenn Wilson, the pinch hitter, goes the other way, drops in. Stubbs around 3rd will score. 2 runs are charged to Stan Belinda, 1 to Bob Patterson, who takes the loss. He's now 8-5. How about the Giants and the Mets? Kevin Mitchell prowling the outfield like he once did when he wore the Mets uniform. Right here, Darrell Boston to left field. It's in there, but he's going to stretch this to 2. Mitchell comes up throwing. The throw to second. Guns him down. What a throw to Robbie Thompson. Then in the 8th, Mitchell appears to have this one all wrapped up for the Giants. 31st home run of the year. He cranked that off Frank Viola. But the Mets rally. Kevin McReynolds, base hit up the middle. Here comes Greg Jeffries. He will score, tied at 3. Then Howard Johnson, looper to right field. It has got a chance. It's going to drop in there for a base hit. Here comes Strawberry with a game winner as they come from behind. Now, they knew they picked up a game on the Mets, right, or the Pirates, right? Ironically, the Pirates gave up 3 runs in the 9th and lose. The Mets scored 3 in the 9th and win. The Mets have won 4 in a row. They trail the Pirates by only a half game in the East. Frank Viola won his 19th game of the year, gave up 3 runs on 11 hits, and pitched his 7th complete game of the year. Yes, we know the preview is coming. So the Mets and Giants doing battle again today. You know, the Mets have been busy as of late making several acquisitions. Infielder Tommy Herr, catcher Charlie O'Brien, Pat Tabler, Vice President of Baseball Operations Joe McIlvaine had these comments on all the trades.
We looked around our team. I think it was becoming obvious to a few people that we were a little bit too young in a few areas, and we've tried to move to secure a few veterans that would kind of give you a little more solidity and a little bit more experience at some key positions.
National League East looks like this. You've got Pittsburgh on top by a half game over the New York Mets. Montreal 7 games off the pace. Well, you know, it seems that 9th inning rallies were in vogue on Friday. The Chicago Cubs scored 2 in the 9th to beat division-leading Cincinnati 4-3. The Reds were cruising with Norm Charlton on the mound, but then the nasty boy himself, Randy Myers, blew a 3-2 lead in the 9th and was tagged with the loss. To Wrigley Field we go for this one. And Luis Salazar, the base hit right back up the middle. And that will score Curtis Wilkerson, and the game is all tied at 2. 3 batters later, Joe Girardi comes up and cranks this one right back through the box. and that will score Dwight Smith with the game winner. So the Reds don't lose any ground, though, in the West. Myers is tagged with that loss. He could not hold the lead. 4th loss of the year for Randy Myers. This afternoon, Rick Mailer takes the mound and tries to bring the Reds right back. The Cubs sending Jose Nunez to the hill for Chicago. It's a 2:20 Eastern Daylight start. How about the Dodgers and the Expos from last night? Orel Hershiser looking on. He's on the DL. And right here, Eddie Murray being, or Kirk Gibson, I should say, not Eddie Murray, being picked off first base by Chris Nobholtz. And in the 4th, Delino DeShields, the base hit off Juan Samuel's glove. Jeff Goff and Owen score, and it's 2-1 in favor of Montreal. Dave Martinez had a great night, 4 hits, including a running catch in the outfield right there. But Nahholtz, a very strong night. Watch Nahholtz just K Juan Samuel right there on the inside corner. He can't believe it. So Montreal trying to stay tough in the National League East. The Dodgers lose a chance to pick up ground on the Reds as they had their 5-game winning streak come to an end. Mike Morgan takes the loss. He's 10-12. Standings in the National League West all look like this. You've got the Reds up on top by 5.5 over the Dodgers, 8.5 over the San Francisco Giants. Up next here on SNN, we'll take you to the American League, and that's where they made history in the Great Northwest, Seattle. The Griffey family. It's Ken Jr. and also it's Ken Griffey himself doing the honors. We'll take you there and show you all the highlights right after this.
This portion of Ms. Lou's Sports News Network is brought to you by You Go America. You Go, basic transportation designed to be simple, dependable, and inexpensive.
Expensive, hard-to-maintain 24-valve engine? Not available. Exotic gadgets? Not available. Hand-fitted leather seats? Not available. What is available is dependable basic transportation that gets you where you want to go inexpensively and trouble-free. The all-new Yugo, with one of the strongest warranties in its class. Yugo, still the lowest-priced new car in America, just $44.35. Yugo, simple, dependable, inexpensive.
Joe, I'm glad you had a great off-season, but now it's time to get back to work.
Showtime! You do everything in those shoes? Everything.
The odds say you should three-peat this year.
No doubt about it.
Go for it, Joe. This is a chance of a lifetime. Keep going.
Who's stopping? Now I bet you're going to show me a new way to pass that thing.
Joe, there's no way they can stop this.
Thanks.
Unstoppable. Welcome back to the show on SNN, to the American League now. You know, there are some who believe the Oakland A's are not going to lose another game. Are you kidding me? That's so absurd, but, you know, it kind of makes one wonder, right? Especially after the 2 pickups, Harold Baines and Ozzie Smith. The A's closing out a homestand against Texas this weekend before they head east for a big road trip that includes the Red Sox and the Yankees. Last night, though, Bob Welch won his 22nd game of the year as the A's beat the Rangers 4-2. Who would have guessed? Bob Welch, 22 wins at this stage of the season after that miserable spring training he had. To the Oakland Coliseum we go for the highlights, and there is Willie McGee, the newest member of the Oakland A's. Carney Lansford right here, base hit to center, and that will score Mike Gallego. The A's have a 3-0 lead in the second inning. Bob Welch looking for win number 22 in the year. Gino Petrali grounds this one up the middle. Willie Randolph, the backhand to throw to first, is in time. What a play. And right here, Juan Gonzalez goes down on that called third strike right there. How about Jeff Kunkel? Inside corner, and he is gone. And then Bob Welch takes Gary Pettis to the outside part of the plate. And Welch won his 22nd game. Dennis the Eckman Eckersley saved his 40th game of the year, and certainly the A's have the stranglehold now on the American League West. And you know, Eckersley is not too far behind the record of 46 himself. So today it's going to be Texas and Oakland, 4:05 Eastern Daylight start. It's going to be Bobby Witt against Kurt Young. The A's have won 2 in a row, as I said. The White Sox and the Angels. Mark Langston on the hill. Ozzie Guillen lines this base hit to right. Ron Karkovice, Scott Fletcher are in. It's 3-0 in favor of the White Sox as Fletcher slides home. Then Johnny Ray loops one to left field. Lance Parrish will score. The blooper drops. Dante Bichette is caught sleeping at second. Gone. He's out of there. 3-2 White Sox. In the 7th, Frank Thomas hits a bomb. Left center field. This one back and gone. 3-run shot. And so the White Sox keep pace with the A's. Chicago has also won 2 straight. And by the way, Bobby Thigpen moving within 1 save of tying the Major League record of 46 set by Dave Righetti back in 1986. And so today, 4:05 Eastern, it's going to be Chicago, California. Melito Perez taking the mound for the White Sox against the rookie Joe Gray. Perez 11-12, Gray 1-1. Look at the standings. American League West has the A's up on top by 6.5 games. It's a 2-team race between the A's and the White Sox. Well, you know, in the American League East, the Boston Red Sox, their runaway train continues. The streak is up to 8 games now, and their lead over Toronto is 6.5. If Boston is not the best team in baseball, they're certainly playing like the best team. And fans in Beantown, once again, all fired up, and this time they hope it's for real, not a repeat of 75, 86, and 88. Last night, the Sox made the Yankees their latest victim 7-3 thanks to a grand slam by Luis Rivera and the pitching of Greg Harris. We go to Fenway Park and the highlights, and you're looking at Dwight Evans, the man who's played 18 years for the Red Sox at Fenway Park. The drive back, gone off Chuck Carey over the Green Monster. 1-0 in favor of the Red Sox. Randy Velarde puts the Yankees on top with this 2-run shot, and it's 2-1 New York. Then Evans grounds a base hit to right. Ellis Burks rounds third, heads for home. Jesse Barfield up, watch the throw to the plate. Burks is gone by a mile as he gets the tag put on from behind. Now, right now, Rick Cerrone hits a slow grounder towards the hole at second. Jody Reed, nice play to get Cerrone at first base and to throw to Quintana. Then Luis Rivera, this drive with the bases loaded, forget it. Grand slam, the first of Rivera's career. Hit 2 over the Monster. Guess that's why they built that thing, to hit home runs over it, right? Fans in Beantown are, well, they can smell the playoffs right now. Greg Harris, the winner, 12-5, 4 runs in the 8th inning, did all the damage. Later today, it's going to be Boston and New York, and Mike Boddicker to the mound looking for win number 14 against Andy Hawkins, probably the most snake-bitten pitcher in all the major leagues. The Jays and the Indians last night.
Well, I think that's
Sandy Alomar. The Blue Jays elect to walk him with 2 outs with the bases loaded to get to Felix Fermin. Well, big mistake because Fermin pulls this ball down the left field line. It'll take 1 hop off the wall. Chris James is in, followed by Corey Snyder. Sandy Alomar is coming to. The throw is way off line. That allows Fermin to score, and 4 runs score on the wacky play. It's 4-0 in favor of Cleveland. Game not tied in the 6th. Mark Whitten drives this base hit to center field. Glenn Allen Hill gives the Jays a 5-4 lead. Then Luis Sojo hits this one to left field. If it stays fair, it's gone. It does. 3-run shot for Sojo. And so the Jays didn't lose any ground. They bombed Cleveland. The rookie, Luis Sojo, with his first major league home run. He drives in 5. Jim Acker gets the win in relief. Greg Swindell, the loss. The American League East standings. Basically a 2-team race to see if, well, I don't know if there's enough time. Toronto is 6.5 games behind the Red Sox as the Beantown gang they're playing hot right now. They've won 8 games in a row. Well, you know, the Griffies made history last night, as you well know. They became the first father-son combination to play in the major leagues. It was Kansas City and Seattle last night. Let's go to the highlights. Seattle Kingdom and the Great Northwest. And there they are together in the dugout, making major league history. They know they're on camera. Ken Sr. shows how it's done. First inning, base hit right back up the middle. And that's his first hit in a Mariner uniform, and like father, like son, Ken Jr. shows he can hit just as well with that base hit right here. And then Ken Sr. displays the kind of defense that made him an all-star. Watch him gun down Bo Jackson right here, trying to take second base. The throw, a rifle throw, and Jackson is gone by a country mile. So the Griffies making major league history last night at the Kingdome. Football is up next here on SNN. We'll take you to RFK Stadium, the nation's capital, the Rams and the Redskins, and you might call the Rams the walking wounded. That and much more in just a moment.
That is a beautifully thrown ball.
Now you can get kitchens and bathrooms from Time Life Books' popular series, Home Repair and Improvement, for just $1.99. I'll be back to tell you how.
Hi, I'm Bob Vila. You know, for years I've been helping people turn average homes into their dream houses, like Dave and Marianne Corbett.
That's right, Bob. You know, for one thing, the kitchen, it's too dark.
Maybe some track lighting would help. Most people don't realize how easy it is to improve a home and increase its value with a few simple projects. Call now for your first book, Kitchens and Bathrooms. Your home is your biggest investment. With a little help from Time Life Books, you can make sure it keeps on growing in value.
Call now for your free examination of kitchens and bathrooms. If you decide to keep it, pay just $1.99. That's $10 off the regular price. Future volumes will follow about every other month with the same free examination. Buy only the ones you want, cancel anytime. As an added bonus, you'll also get the Stanley tape measure free. So pick up the phone. We're ready to take your call.
The color, the drama, the tradition, the majesty that is the Masters. Introducing Great Moments of the Masters, a video scrapbook of golf's greatest tournament. To order, call 1-800-228-5511. $49.95 plus $3.50 shipping and handling. Great Moments of the Masters, the video.
Welcome back to SNN. Time to talk football. This time, it's the first big day on the college gridiron, but last night, the annual kickoff classic at USC against Syracuse, and most of the talk this year has been surrounding the sophomore quarterback himself, Todd Marinovich. There is speculation that he's going to jump to the NFL after this season. Considering the money these teams are offering these days, he isn't ruling that out. Last night, Marinovich started the season off with a bang as USC destroyed Syracuse. He's known as Robo Quarterback. At a Heisman Trophy this year would raise his stock in the pros. We get this report now from SNN's Andy Poland.
USC quarterback Todd Marinovich is the talk of college football. The man born and raised to be a quarterback. And on this night, he was super. Marinovich completed 25 of 35 for 337 yards and 3 touchdowns, including a 46-yarder to Gary Wellman, which pretty much put the game out of reach for Syracuse.
I couldn't wait to get on the field and get things going with everybody talking about it and asking so many questions. You guys asking me so many questions, and just couldn't wait to perform. I had a feeling it was going to be a good one.
And while Marinovich got all the attention, the Syracuse starter was a mystery until Thursday, when Coach Dick McPherson finally decided to go with freshman Marvin Graves. And the kid played well. He threw for 191 yards, ran for another 59, not to mention a nifty pass to David Walker, who juked his way into the end zone from 30 yards out. Still, There was no consoling the freshman quarterback as we walked off the field.
I guess it wasn't good enough because we didn't win.
You're dissatisfied with your performance tonight?
Yes.
Why?
A lot of little mistakes down close, and we could have had touchdowns. We came out with field goals, and that wasn't enough.
And while Syracuse didn't win this game, they can walk out of here pretty darn satisfied that they played well for 60 minutes against the defending Rose Bowl champions, and that they found themselves a winner in freshman quarterback Marvin Graves. At the Kickoff Classic in East Rutherford, New Jersey, Andy Poland, Ms. Lou's Sports News Network.
All right, there's your final 34-16. The numbers on Marinovich, 25 of 35. 337 yards, 3 touchdowns, and for those who don't have a calculator, he completed 71% of his passes, but Syracuse had no defense last night either. All right, to the NFL now. Last night, the Los Angeles Rams traveled 3,000 miles to take on the Redskins. They made the trip like a sick patient looking for a cure. The Rams played without the injured wide receivers, Henry Ellard, Aaron Cox, Willie Anderson, and then Friday night they lost offensive tackle Jackie Slater with a dislocated toe. He's out for 2 weeks. Also, Jerry Gray, who was the MVP in last year's Pro Bowl, left with a ligament tear. He undergoes knee surgery today, and quarterback Alfred Jackson and linebacker Frank Stams left with groin pulls. Meantime, the Rams, they were wiped out by the Redskins, 37-10. Take it RFK, beautiful night in the nation's capital. The plane flying into National Airport, the monument, the national capital, of course, in the foreground. And right here, Mark Rippon thinks he has Art Monk in sight. No, mistake. Okay, Jerry Gray picks that one off. He's gone to the races. This one good for 62 yards and a touchdown. It's 7-0 in favor of L.A. Then Rippon looking to Monk again. Look at the time he's got. And Art hauls this one in at about the 15 and gone the rest of the way. It's 14-7 in favor of Washington on that 36-yard touchdown pass. Then in the second quarter, Rippon finds Terry Orr on this 20-yard touchdown pass to the end zone. But on the play right there, the two Ram players collide. You see him go down. Jerry Gray, Alfred Jackson both had to leave the field on stretchers, and you saw the head coach, John Robinson, not very pleased. He knows the regular season begins a week from tomorrow. The preseason, though, can be very misleading, just like Coach Joe Gibbs says it always is.
You go through a preseason, we go 0-4 and go win a Super Bowl. We go 4-0 and can't beat anybody. And tell you the truth, as a coach, you're just always afraid and scared when you come out of it. You know, if you play good like you did tonight, you're worried and afraid, you know, that you played too good tonight. And I don't know. It's just I don't think preseason means much. It doesn't mean hardly anything.
How about the Lions and the Bengals? There's Rodney Peete. 90 grand a year for Rodney. Look at him drop back. This one, the quick out to Rob Clark. Jukes a man. He is gone for the touchdown. And it's 31 yards, ties the game. Boomer Esiason rolls to his left, finds Rodney Holman right here. Boomer throwing on the run at the 6, and Holman with a great effort breaks the tackle into the end zone, 17-7. Then Andre Ware came on for the Lions in the second half, deep in their own territory. Ware shows why. He has all that money in the bank right now as he takes off and gets the first down. Bob Gagliano was the quarterback that brings the Lions into a position to win, trailing 24-23 with less than 4 minutes to go. Wilson Hoyle hits the 26-yard field goal, and Detroit goes on to win this one 26-24. And the Lions finish the preseason at 4-0. The Bengals at 1-3, but it is only preseason. I mean, the NFL's regular season only a week away. Up next, here on SNN, we'll take you to Flushing Meadow for the U.S. Open Tennis Championships and see what the bad boy, John McEnroe, is up to. Is he on the comeback trail? Maybe so. We'll have that and much more after this.
This portion of Ms. Lou's Sports News Network is brought to you by Kotler. When you want to know what America looks like, turn to Kotler.
When you want to know what America looks like, turn to Cutler.
Get ready to launch yourself into the world of Air and Space Smithsonian, a world that captivates the imagination. Satellites, superjets, soaring, something different every other month. There's no other magazine like Air and Space, and with your subscription comes membership in the National Air and Space Museum in Washington.
To order Air and Space, call 1-800-354-5800 and receive a full year. 6 issues for just $18 with membership in the National Air and Space Museum. Call 1-800-354-5800.
The greatest city in the world. What better place for a university? A university with more than 60 majors on the undergraduate level alone, all with a solid core of liberal arts subjects. A university with more student activities than any other in the Northeast, and one of the winningest teams in basketball history. Yes, the city is New York. The university is St. John.
Welcome back to SNN, to the U.S. Open Tennis Championships in the grandstand court. Well, it should be packed today to watch the top seed herself and the defending champion take on an unseeded player. Not too much of a problem as Steffi Graf, the defending champion, takes down Elna Ronick 6-4, 3-6, and 6-1. Guadalupe Sanchez of Vicario defeating Patty Fendick in 2, 6-2, and 6-1. And on the men's side, Andre Agassi moves on with a victory over Franco Davin. The scores there, 7-5, 6-4, and 6-love. Well, you know, people right now wondering if John McEnroe has returned. Is he back? Last night, he took on the number 10 seed, Andrei Chesnikov of the Soviet Union, and won in 3 sets. McEnroe came back from a 4-0 deficit in the second, making it the first time since February that Mac has beaten a player that is ranked in the top 20. We go to Flushing Meadow for the highlights last night, and Mac jumped on top early as John McEnroe taking control of this one and not being intimidated one bit. What a drop shot by John McEnroe. But Chesnikov won the first 4 games of the second set with passing shots like this one. John couldn't handle that one too well, but Mac roared back, winning 7 of the next 8 games to take the set and go up 2-0 and command. John McEnroe of old, as Mac the Knife, will charge the net, and at the net wins it right there. The scores, as you will see, is McEnroe wins it 6-3, 7-5, and 6-4 over the number 10 seed. Another major upset last night at Flushing Meadow. That's it for me. I'm John Malos, but coming up next here on SNN, it's the debut of College Football Scoreboard with Ed Berliner, and Chick Hernandez doing SNN as Sports Cut-Ins. Back with more after this, but first we're going to take a look at the Power Stroke that counts. Have a good afternoon.